Hey, what's up, guys? It's Angel Santalski. I'm back with another UFC prediction video. This time, UFC Fight Night, Royval versus Taira. This event goes down in 2 weeks. It goes down Saturday, October 12th, 2024. Prelims begin at 6 p.m. Going down from the UFC Apex, Las Vegas, Nevada. So let's get into it. First prelim fight, McKenna against Julia Pilastri. I'm going to side with McKenna here. They're both coming off a loss, but I'm just going to side with McKenna here. I think she just might be the better fighter, but she's got like a 5-inch reach disadvantage, so that's worrisome. There are no odds available for this fight yet. Just going to refresh the page, but I have not seen any odds posted. BetOnline just opened the odds for this event a couple days ago. Dan Argueta against Cody Haddon. Cody Haddon coming off that impressive submission win against Billy Brand on the Dana White Contender Series back in August. This guy's looking great. 5-fight winning streak going against Dan Argueta. Dan Argueta, he's been in the UFC for a little bit. He's coming off a submission loss to Gene Matsumoto in April. I'm going to side with Haddon here, but again, I wouldn't trust this fight. I wouldn't trust the bet on him too much just because Argueta, he's got UFC experience. He's fought decent competition, so I don't see any odds available for this fight yet, but my pick will be Haddon. Jonathan Pearce against Pat Sabatini, two grapplers. I'm going to side with Pearce here. I think he just might be the bigger, better grappler of the two. The odds are currently Pearce minus 180. So, odds makers kind of thinking the same thing. I'm going to side with Pearce. Barnett against Cortes-Acosta. Cortes-Acosta, very impressed. I was very impressed with his performance in his last outing against Robelis Despan. That guy is a very good striker, and Cortes-Acosta kind of neutralized his striking with takedowns and whatnot. I mean, he did take some punches on the feet, but he got the fight to the ground. He's on a 3-fight winning streak, so that's impressive. Chris Barnett, I feel like I haven't seen him in action in a while. Let's see when he last fought. He last fought in 2022, so yeah, it has been a while. He beat Jay Collier, who's no longer with the promotion, but I'm going to side with Cortes-Acosta here to pick up the win. Next fight, CJ Vergara against Ramazanbek Temirov. And I'm going to side with Temirov here. He's another Uzbekistan fighter, 17-2, so, you know, again, 9-fight winning streak, 27 years old, flyweight fighter. So again, the UFC, I like the fact that the UFC is bringing in a lot of these international fighters from the Russian area, you know, to build up their flyweight division, man, because these guys are good. They're good grapplers, good wrestlers. So this guy's on a 9-fight winning streak. He's going up against Vergara, and I feel like we've just seen Vergara fight another Uzbekistani fighter in his last outing. And yeah, he fought Asu Almabayev, who's also, well, he's from Kazakhstan. So they're putting Vergara up against a lot of prospects here, but I feel like Vergara, if he could just get his takedown defense a little better, he might stand a better chance of winning these fights, man, because I feel like he is getting the better of the stand-up in some of these fights, but he's getting taken down and controlled. But I'm going to side with Temirov here. We'll see how this fight goes, but my pick will be Temirov. Clayton Carpenter against Lucas Rocha, and I'm going to side with Rocha here, man. This guy's a talented striker. I'm really high in Clayton Carpenter too. He's very good with his submissions and grappling. Good wrestler. But we haven't seen him in action since February of 2023, so he's been out for over a year and a half. And you know, he beat Ronderos, who was fighting on the regional scene. Edgar Charez, good win. But he's going up against Lucas Rocha, and I was just really impressed with his last outing. He fought in October of 2023 on the Contender Series. But very impressed. I'm going to side with Rocha here, but again, it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Chidi Njokuani against Jared Gooden. Gooden is coming off a UFC win over at Wellington Turman. Just not really impressed with that outing for both of those guys. I don't think Turman's really UFC caliber. Gooden, I don't really trust his chin. I just trust Chidi Njokuani a little bit more in this fight. I think Njokuani can knock out Gooden, but I don't know. I'm not sold on Njokuani's cardio, but I am going to pick him here to win this fight. Nico Price against Gorimbo. I think the UFC's really been trying to bring up Gorimbo, hype him up. I mean, there's a big story about how The Rock bought him a house. So, Gorimbo, he's looked impressive. 3-fight winning streak. Not the best performance against Ramiz Brahmahash, but impressive wins before that. So, we'll see where he goes here. I'm going to side with Gorimbo. Nico Price, not really impressed with this guy, man. He's kind of long in the tooth for his UFC career, man. He's been around a while, beat Morano, but Morano took that fight on very short notice, and he looked terrible. But I'm going to side with Gorimbo here. Daniel Rodriguez against Alex Morano. Well, like we just talked about, Morano lost to Nico Price in his last fight. Did not look good. He took the fight on very short notice, gassed out. I'm going to side with Daniel Rodriguez here. He did lose to Gastelum, but we know Gastelum missed weight. Had a big weight advantage in that fight. The fight was over in Abu Dhabi or Saudi Arabia, one of the two. And I didn't think Daniel Rodriguez looked too bad. He did lose the fight. But we know Kelvin Gastelum's a better fighter than Morano here. I'm going to side with Daniel Rodriguez, not trusting it a whole lot. I think he might be getting more respect on the betting lines just because Morano did not look good in his last fight. So we don't want to overreact here, but I will side with Daniel Rodriguez. Josh Fremd against Abdul Razak Alhassan. I thought Razak Alhassan looked very, very fast in his last fight against Brundage, and that Brundage quit in. And Fremd, he looked terrible against Andre Petrosky. I'm going to side with Razak Alhassan here to pick up the win. Grant Dawson against Rafa Garcia. I think Grant Dawson's a phenomenal grappler, man. He got caught by Bobby Green. We know he doesn't have a chin. But I think he's just going to take down and control Garcia here. I just think Dawson's the better of the two. So I will side with Dawson. Tavares against Park. This fight was canceled before, a month or two ago. Park got sick or something happened. I'm going to side with Tavares here. Brandon Royval against Tatsuro Taira. Man, what a fight here. They currently have Taira minus 185 favorite. The comeback on Royval plus 160. And I like Royval here, but let's get into it. Taira, 24 years old. Japanese fighters. Looked absolutely amazing in the promotion. This guy's been in the promotion since 2022. And he's done nothing but win. Very unfortunate ending for Alex Perez in their last fight. Taira was taking him down and he had his knee locked up in a certain position where it looked like Perez blew out his knee. When Taira was taking his back and trying to take him down. So that was nasty, man. It seemed like a technique that Taira might practice in the gym. But this guy's been on an absolute roll here. And he's going up against Brandon Royval, who I was really impressed with in his last outing back in February. He beat Brandon Moreno by split decision. I feel like that was the correct decision. Lost to Pantoja before that in December. No shame in that. Pantoja's a champ. Beat Nicolau prior to that. Matt Schnell, Rodrigo Bontarin. But I'm going to side with Royval here, man. One, because I like his cardio. I just feel like he's the higher level fighter here, but he's not. I don't think he's training with Factory X no more or Factory Muay Thai. I think he split away from that camp, so there's that concern. Let's go into how they match up. Let's look at it. 5'9", 70.5-inch reach advantage, 5'7". So Royval is the older fighter by 8 years. Probably the bigger fighter. I'm going to side with Royval here, but again, he is the underdog. I feel like the value is on Royval. He's fought the higher competition. I'm going to have to take Royval for the value, but I don't, you can't. I don't disagree with anybody that's back in Taira here because he hasn't lost. You know, I understand that aspect too, but the odds kind of dictate to me, if I were to put my money on it, where I need to bet, and that would be on Royval. He's the plus 160 underdog here, man. So again, the odds talk. I like Royval for the fight. So my picks, guys, for this card: Royval, Tavares, Dawson, Razak Alhassan, Rodriguez, Gorimbo, Njokuani, Rocha, Temirov, Cortes-Acosta, Pearce, Haddon, and McKenna.